My beloved, today we reflect on verse 2 of chapter 9 of the book of Sirach, which says, "Do not be envious of the woman who is in your bosom, and do not teach her any teaching that will offend you." Our story today is titled Samson and Delilah, where our story tells of Samson, who was born by a divine miracle, as the angel of the Lord informed his parents of the greatness of his calling. He was a Nazirite to God throughout his life, which meant that he was obligated not to cut his hair as a symbol of a covenant between him and God. His supernatural strength was linked to this vow, and he used this strength to overcome the enemies of the children of Israel, especially the Philistines. Samson fell in love with a woman named Delilah, who was from the inhabitants of the valley of Sorek, who were enemies of the children of Israel. The leaders of the Philistines took advantage of this relationship and convinced Delilah to deceive Samson to know the secret of his great strength in exchange for a large financial reward. Delilah began to pressure Samson with constant insistence to know the secret of his strength. After several attempts to talk her out of the truth, Samson finally gave in and told her that the secret of his strength was his hair, which had never been cut. When Samson fell asleep, Delilah cut his hair and summoned the Philistines. Samson lost his strength and was easily captured. They bound him and took him to Gaza, where they gouged out his eyes and made him work as a slave in a mill. After a while, Samson's hair began to grow back. One day, the Philistines summoned him to be a laughingstock in their temple. Samson prayed to God to restore his strength one last time. God answered his prayer and the temple collapsed, killing him along with his enemies. The moral of the story clearly shows the consequences of surrendering one's power or will to someone who is not trustworthy. Unguided emotions can lead to a person's weakness and downfall. The story teaches us the importance of adhering to our principles and not putting ourselves in situations that may expose us to betrayal or weakness. And here, my friends, we conclude our episode for today of our Daily Bread, which is prepared and directed by Father Noor Alkasmosa. Thank you for joining us today, and do not forget to follow me on social media from TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. I leave you in God's care and protection, and glory be to God always. Amen.